Now let's talk about how to create a good habit. First law: make it obvious. Fill out the habit scorecard. Write down your current habits to become aware of them. Two, you use implementation intentions. I will behavior at time in location. Third is use habit stacking. After current habit, I will new habit. Designing your environment. Make the cues of good habits obvious and visible. The second law: make it attractive. Use temptation building. Pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Second, join a culture where your desire behavior is the normal behavior. Create a motivation ritual. Do something you enjoy immediately before a difficult habit. The third law: make it easy. Reduce friction. Decrease the number of steps between you and your good habits. Prime the environment. Perhaps your environment to make future actions easier. Master this decisive movement. Optimize the small choices that deliver outsized impact. Use the 2 minute rule. Downscale your habits until they can be done in 2 minutes or less. Automate your habits. Invest in technology and one-time purchase that lock in future habits. Fourth law: make it satisfying. The first thing is use reinforce use reinforcement. Give yourself an immediate reward when you complete your habit. Make doing nothing enjoyable. When avoiding a bad habit, design a way to see the benefits. Use a habit tracker. Keep track your habits. Keep track your habit and don't break the chain. Never miss twice. When you forget to do a habit, make sure you get back on track immediately. How to break a bad habit? Inversion of first law: make it invisible. Reduce exposure. Remove the cues of your bad habits from your environment. Inversion of the second law: make it unattractive. Reframe your mindset. Highlight the benefits of avoiding your bad habits. Inversion of third law: make it difficult. Increase friction. Increase the number of steps between you and your bad habits. Use a commitment device. Resist your future choices to the ones that benefit you. Inversion of the fourth law: make it unsatisfying. Get an accountability partner. Ask them to watch your behavior. Create a habit contract. Make the costs of your bad habits public and painful. Advanced tactics: how to go from being merely good to being truly great. Chapter 18. Okay. Chapter 18: the truth about talent. When genes matter, and they won't. Many people are familiar with Michael Phelps, who is widely considered to be one of the greatest athletes in history. Phelps has won more Olympic medals, not only than any swimmer, but also more than any Olympian in any sport. Fewer people know the name Hichem El Guruj, but he was fantastic athlete in his own right. El Guruj is El Guruj Hisham El Guruj Hisham Al Guruj Hisham Al Guruj. Al Guruj is a Moroccan runner who holds two Olympic gold medals, and is one of the greatest middle distance runners of all time. For many, he held the world record in a mile, 15,000 meter and 2,000 meter races. At the Olympic Games in Athens, Greece in 2004, he won gold in the 15,000 15,000 meter and 5,000 meter races. These two athletes are widely different in many ways. For for starters, one completed on land and other in water. But most must note but most notably, they differ significantly in height. Al Guruj is 5 feet 9 inches tall. Phelps is 6 feet 4 inches tall. Despite this 7 inches difference, despite this 7-inch difference in height, the two men are the two men are identically in one respect. Michael Phillips and Hisham Al Guruj was the was the was the same length in seam on their pants. Same length in seam on their pants. How is this possible? Phelps are relatively short legs for his height and a very long torso. The perfect build for swimming. Al Guruj was incredibly long legs and a short upper body, and an ideal frame for distance running. Now imagine if these world-class athletes were to switch sports, given his remarkable athleticism. Could Phelps become an caliber? Could Phelps become an Olympic caliber distance runner with enough training? It is unlikely. At peak fitness, Phelps weighted 194 pounds, 194 pounds, which is 40% heavier than Al Guruj. Was completed at an ultralight 138 pounds. Taller runners have taller runners are heavier runners, and every extra pound is a curse when it becomes to distance running. Against elite competition, Phelps would be doomed from the start. Similarly, Al Guruj might be one of the best runners in history, but it is doubtful he would ever qualify for the Olympics as a swimmer. Since 1976, the average height of Olympic gold medalists in the men 15,000 meter one the 1500 meter run in 5 feet 10 inches. In comparison, the average height of Olympic gold medalists in the men's 100-meter freestyle swimming is 6 feet 4 inches. Swimmings tend to be tall and have long backs and arms, which are ideal for pulling through the water. Al Guruj would be at the severe disadvantage before he ever touched the pool. The secret to maximizing your odds of success is choose the right field of competition. This is just as true with habit change as true habit change as it is with sports and businesses. Habits are easier to perform and more satisfying to stick with when they align with your natural inclinations and abilities. Like Michael Phelps in the pool, or Hisham Al Guruj on the track. You want to play a game where the odds are in your favor. Embarrassing this strategy requires the acceptance of the simple truth that people are born with different abilities. Some people don't like to discuss this fact. On the surface, your genes seem to be fixed, and it is no fun to talk about things you cannot control. Plus, perhaps like biological determinism, determinism makes it sound like certain individuals are dis- destined for success and others doomed to fail. But this is but this is but this is short-listed but this is short-listed view of influence of genes behavior. The strength of genetic is also their weakness. Genes cannot be easily changed, which means by providing powerful advantage in favorable circumstances and a serious serious disadvantage in unfavorable circumstances. If you want to dunk a basketball, being 7 feet tall is very useful. If you want to perform a gymnastics routine, being 7 feet tall is a great hindrance. Our environment determines the suitability of our genes and the utility of our natural talents. When our environment changes, so do the qualities that determine success. This is true not just for physical characteristics, but for mental ones as well. I'm smart if you ask me about habits and human behavior, not so much when it comes to knitting, rocket propulsion, or guitar chords. Complete competence competence is highly dependent on context. The people at the top of any field are not only well trained, they are also well suited to the task. And this is why, if you want to be truly great, selecting the right place of focusing is crucial. In short, genes do not determine your destiny; they determine your areas of opportunity. As physician, government notes, genes can predispose, but they don't predetermine. Predispose, but not predetermine. The areas where you are genetically predisposed to success are the areas where habits are more likely to be satisfying. The key is to direct your effort toward areas that both excite you and match your natural skills to align your ambition with your ability. The obvious question is, how do I figure out where the odds are in my favor? How do I identify the opportunities that and habits that are right for me? The place we look for an answer is understanding your personality. How your personality influences your habit. Your genes are operating beneath the surface of every habit. Indeed, beneath of surface of every behavior. Genes have been shown to influence everything from the number of hours you spend watching television, to your likelihood to marry or divorce, to your tendency to get addicted to drugs, alcohol, or nicotine. Th- There are there's a strong genetic component to how obedient your rebellious you are when facing authority, how how vulnerable or resistant you are to stressful events, how proactive or reactive you tend to be, and even how captivate or bored you feel during sensory experiences like attending a concert. As Robin Plomin as Robert Plomin sorry as Robert Plomin, a behavioral geneticist at King's College in London, told me, it is now at the point where we have stopped testing to see if traits have a genetic component, because we literally can't find we cannot find a single one that isn't influenced by our genes. Bundled together, your unique cluster of genetic traits predispose you to particular personality. Your personality is the set of characteristics that is consistent from situation to situation. The most proven scientific analysis per personality traits is known as the Big Five, which breaks them down into five spectrums five spectrums of behavior. Five the those the this five spec this five spectrum this five spectrum this five spectrum these five spectrums are: one, openness to experience, consent consent consentinuous consentininess, extroversion, agreeableness, and lastly neuroticism. Openness of experience, of curious and inventive on one end, to cautious and consistent on the other. Conscientiousness, organized, the efficient to easygoing and spontaneous, spontaneous. Extroversion, outgoing and energetic, to solitary and reserved. You likely know them as extroverts versus introverts. Agreeableness, friendly and compassionate to challenging and detached. Neuroticism, anxious and sensitive to confident, calm and stable. All five characteristics have biological underpins. Extroversion, for instance, can be tracked from birth. If scientists play a loud noise in a nursing ward, some babies turn toward it while other turn away. When the researchers tracked these children through life, they found that the babies who turned towards the noise were more likely to grow up to be extroverts. Those who turned away are more likely to become introverts. People who are high in agreeableness and are kind, considerate and warm. They also tend to have higher natural oxytocin levels, a hormone that plays an important role in social bonding. Increase feelings of trust, feelings of trust, and can act as a natural and antidepressant. You can easily imagine how someone with more oxytocin might be inclined to build habits like writing thank you notes or organizing social events. As a third example, consider neuroticism, which is a personality trait all people possess to various degrees. People who are high in neuroticism tend to be anxious and worry more than others. The trait has been linked to hypersensitivity of the amygdala, the proportion of the brain response for noticing threats. In other words, people who are more sensitive to negative cues in the environment are more likely to uh, high score in neuroticism. Our habits are not solely determined by personalities, but there is no doubt that our genes nudge us in a certain direction. Our deeply rooted preferences make certain behaviors easier for some people than for others. For others, you don't have to apologize for these differences or feel guilty about them, but you do have to work with them. A person who scores lower on conscien- conscientious conscientious, for example, will be less likely to be orderly by nature, and may need to rely more heavily on environment design to stick with good habits. Reminder, as a reminder for the less conscientious, for less conscientious, as a reminder for the less conscientious readers among us, environment design is strategy we discussed in the chapter 6 and chapter 12. Till then, assalamu alaikum.